right, I'm going to start going out of order here because, look, as I mentioned, I think the Jets are in the mix for the top five. But there's a team way lower down in this list that I would put ahead of them. And they're ranked number 9, and that's the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
They're at number 9 in the article. I would still have the Cowboys in the top 5. And that's to me, it's all about perspective, Sam. And the two things that I think skew the perspective with the Cowboys is inability to win a big game. So it's like, all right, we forget how much talent they have because they're not, getting to an NFC championship with this talented roster. And then second, the ebbs and flows of the offseason. Because Dallas hasn't made any aggressive moves this offseason, it's just like 2 off seasons ago for Dallas. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like they're putting themselves in position to succeed. They're not filling some of the glaring holes on that roster, at least not well. They're filling them with, question marks. Tyler Guyton in the first round at left tackle, a third round potential center in Cooper Beebe. But they're still really good. And the Cowboys, I think, are still in the top 5 or so when it comes to their roster.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's the perception. It's because they've probably gotten worse that we're really dragging them down, right? It's like, but they're probably getting worse from one of the best rosters in the NFL. Like, it's important to sort of understand what the starting point was before you sort of drag them down too much for declining in the offseason. I think they probably have gotten worse heading into this year relative to even ending last season, but at the start of last season. But it is still a really good roster, and like a lot of some other teams, it's strong in the right places. I mean, Dak Prescott had a strong MVP case last season. CeeDee Lamb is one of the top 3 wide receivers in the NFL based off last season. Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland have each had an absurd season, leading the league in interceptions and big plays from cornerback. And Micah Parsons might be the best pure football player in the NFL, like elite pass rusher. He'd be an elite linebacker if you played him there. Just a phenomenal player, period. They are strong at the most important, like that's literally ticking off 4 of the 5 most important positions in football.
Yeah, and as I was mentioned in the recent draft history, Cowboys, Chiefs, Lions, those Ravens, those are all the best teams at drafting and bringing in solid starters, solid or better starters, and then you have a Micah Parsons, so like you said, an elite starter. So the way the Cowboys have drafted over the last 5 or 6 years is actually really good. We're very critical of some of their moves. I've mentioned, when they draft for need instead of drafting the best players, maybe they miss a little bit, but those guys are still carrying things. The other part that feels uncomfortable for the Cowboys is those 3 stars are unsigned. So you and I, we love to look at things from a big picture team building standpoint. I don't know what they're going to do with Dak, with Micah Parsons, with CeeDee Lamb, all needing to get paid. So I don't know if they've future-proofed the roster very well. And did they take a bit of a step back since last year? I think so, right? Michael Gallup's out the door. Tyron Smith is out the door. Tyler Biadasz out the door, starting center. So there are starters missing. Call Gallup a starter as, wide receiver 3. There were starters missing from last year. And last year's offseason, they did a better job of shoring those things up, right? They got Stephon Gilmore for almost nothing. They brought in Brandon Cooks for almost nothing. So when they had issues on the roster last year, they got a couple proven veterans who ended up playing pretty good football for them last year. This year, they've done it through the draft. So there are more question marks this year than last year, I would say, for the Cowboys. But we're talking about a team that is a perennial 12-win type of team, and talent-wise is among the best in the league. So I think, for the Cowboys, I'd have them in the mix, probably in the top 5, and I still think maybe above the Jets, who, were ranked 4th here.